asking if you're ready.
Oh, the Texas Porch, Texas talk with a touch of sports. Just drinking from my first place mug here. It is less funny now between the two of us now that we were recording about a minute, and I realized I was not actually recording. More award-winning sports writer extraordinaire Josh, don't call him Harvard coming up in a second. Coming up on today's show, Josh and I talk about our mini road trip just down south to watch our teams, his third place Astros and my first place Rangers. And of course, I found myself in an awkward encounter. We also discussed the great class of the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. Remember, the Texas Porch is better when you're out here with a friend. Please subscribe. Please leave a review. And if you'd like to contact, I realize, hey, numbskull, you might tell people if you want to ask a question, contribute to the show. We're streaming live on our Texas Porch Facebook page. If you've got any comments as the stream of consciousness presentation goes, chime in. We'd like to hear from you and where you're watching from. And we're on YouTube as well, the Texas Porch YouTube page. Please subscribe to that. I'm about to get all the snazzy graphics but it's incremental improvement, one thing at a time. But we're on the podcast sphere as well, too, wherever you get your podcast. But joined now by award-winning sports writer, the former sports writer of the year in the state of Texas, but he could not back up that award, go back-to-back, because he was busy winning other awards. Josh, don't call him Harvard. How you doing?
I'm great. I've been going that way.
Yeah. So first off, kudos on the presentation. Mrs. Havard has a touch to your background. Your lighting is amazing. And you're just kind of flexing on all of us with all those awards around you.
Well, this was kind of her idea. Like, I'm not gonna give her credit because she would make it look much better than I would, because I just kind of threw it together. But she gave some ideas for the lighting and to display this. So I had the Astro stuff and the awards in the background instead of the back of a ping pong table. So definitely give her credit for that. But if she decides she really wants to snazz this up, then it'll probably look better than what I've got right now. But this is my little thing. I've got my Astros and a few of the awards back there.
Yeah, that's how cool he is and how great he is in his profession. That's only a small fraction of the awards. So is that a program? I was trying to maximize my screen here. I guess I could do a little bit of a different view here. Yeah, what's on the Astro stuff there behind your big noggin?
Well, actually, this is a few years ago. I started taking some of the kids to random Astro signings back when they had them. I don't think they have them anymore since COVID hit. Well, I know they didn't for a while. I don't know if they started back and now the kids are too old for it. But yeah, these are some of the signings. They give you the card and the players or whoever would sign it. I guess I could look around. Most of them aren't with them anymore. I've still got Robert Ford, who's the radio guy.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Blum, TV guy. Carlos Correa's up there. Springer's up there. Tony Sipp. Forrest Whitley, who hadn't actually been with the team.
The great Tony Sipp.
Yeah.
Why do I remember that name?
He was around forever. And then there's AJ Hinch. He's up there. And I think Lance McCullers Jr. is the only current Astro that I've got up there.
Okay. So you kind of have a pre-golden era, a cheating golden era, and then you have kind of the post-current era, right?
Yeah, I think we started all these like 2016 or something. It was making trips, like it was basically standing in line and stuff, but they enjoyed it, and it's good keepsakes to have. We probably got another 10 somewhere. I know Cameron does in his room, so that's but that's kind of the ones that I had for it.
So you've moved Cam from the garage, right? People don't know this storyline on the podcast, and this is our third, fourth week in a row doing a live show. Who can even keep up, folks? But you banished your son to the garage. You made him start his own woodworking business, and he only gets to come out when he produces certain amounts of revenue, right? Do I have that kind of close?
That's sort of close. It's actually back before our move and he decided he wanted his own man area. We've got too many women in the house for a guy his age. We've got a wife and 3 daughters, so he wanted to have his own room, and so he experimented with going out to the garage, which worked pretty well for a while. And then, Texas summers aren't really conducive to that. So, but now since we moved, he's got his own room that he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to be in a 100-degree garage if he wants. If he wants his own time, he can actually be in his own room. So it's nice and convenient there, and that sounds like less torture, actually.
Yeah, moving up to the burbs and have a room that's not 107 degrees there in the middle of the summer. Well, Josh and I took a little bit of a by the way, I was a little bit tongue-in-cheek there, but you've won so many awards, but your most recent, we'll explain the full road trip in a second, but in the middle of our road trip, Josh was like, oh, I won another award, sort of like, not in a cocky way. You're very humble about it. What's the latest one?
The latest one, the Texas Managing Editors, which is formerly Associated Press Managing Editors, they had their awards this weekend, and I won first place for sports column writing. So that's what I hadn't won yet. And give a shout out to Lufkin Daily News. They won. Several of my coworkers won more awards, many more awards than me. Stacey Face and Jess Huff.
We're not worried about them though. They're not here.
I gotta give shout outs, but. Yeah, they know who they are. But Lufkin Daily News did a good job. And I did win column writing, which was a first. So that was.
And this goes without saying. This is one of the columns you've mentioned. One of our wacky stories, or you mentioned me. That kind of goes without saying.
Well, I do have a short, funny story. I won't get you totally off track here. Of course, that was. I'm sure that was way at the top of theirs. One that had a JP mention, but. The 3 I had, one was a Father's Day, one was a tribute to my girl's mom who died a few years ago. And there was another one. We'll get in the story. But my wife, she likes framing stuff up. So she's going to frame my stuff from Sports Writer of the Year last year. She said, I'm going to get these framed too.
Nice.
And I said, the other column is Deshaun Watson. I said, I don't think I want sexual assault charges from 25 people.
Yeah.
Hanging on the wall. So we nixed the Deshaun Watson one. I don't think we're going to have that in a house of 4 women. I think we're going to keep that one to the side, but the other ones we're going to get framed.
Good call. By the way, sticking with the Texas theme, got my favorite barbecue spot. And aren't they all my favorite barbecue spots? I say that every time. Hutchins Barbecue up there, Frisco location. Haven't been to the McKinney one, but whenever I'm up in Frisco way, North Texas, like to go to old Hutchins. All right, Josh, as you well know, it hasn't been too long ago, we took a little bit of a road trip and found ourselves in the greatness, I say non-sarcastically, in Minute Maid Park. I did not include the first pick that I had documented of our road trip. We actually went to palled around with me down to the old Institute to watch some Rice Owls baseball. Thank you for getting there 3 hours before the game so I could do my regular routine. And Josh was just churning out more column award-winning work as well. So I wanted to pick up the story from when we leave and we rush. We get the other 2 members of our party, which we'll talk about here in a second. We parked. And it wasn't too bad getting over there. As you know, the number one concern I had was, are we going to make it to the game on time? Because it was 2:00 Rice game. As you know, most baseball games last 3 hours, and we're thinking, okay, first pitch 6:10. We should be able to make it, but I have sat through many a college baseball game that goes well past 3 hours, but this one got us through, and we got there, and it was really nice. We parked. I never parked on that south side, I guess really the southeast side of the stadium, and thanks to ticket hookup Kenny, and he got us some really good seats there. So I spoil you, Josh. I'm not sitting up in the rafters with you common folks. When I go to a game, we're sitting down underneath.
No, those seats were phenomenal. I mean, you can see the picture right there for anybody that's watching. But yeah, about 25 rows, kind of just off the left of home plate. So that it was couldn't have done any better for that. And we did show up, which I was kind of surprised we got there for first pitch, but we were there in plenty of time thanks to some navigation from the rest of the party, probably.
Yeah, the roof was closed, and we got there in plenty of time. That was the one game. The Astros did the Rangers got screwed, and the Astros somehow squeaked that one out, trying to injure John Gray, but they were not so lucky there for the rest of the series, as the Rangers took the Friday one and they took the Saturday one. Not to get too sportsy on you, but a big series win for the Rangers at the time. I know your smarmy text. I know it was a big win for the Rangers because I rarely get mad Josh, who's not really too mad in any facet of my life. But when you jokingly, you said, oh, yeah, a rivalry, because I said something like, hey, it's good to have a rivalry going here. Let's keep it in perspective, with the first place. Excuse me while I take a first place sip. Tastes good. First place. Tastes good, Josh. But I was like, it's good. It's good to have some sports hatred here. It's good to have some jockeying back and forth, because forever the Rangers kicked you guys with the silver boot. Then you guys, for what, the last 6-7 seasons, have kicked our fannies with that silver boot and crammed it where the sun don't shine. So it's good to have this back and forth. Don't you, right?
It would be a lot of fun if the Rangers actually got to be competitors this year. Because it's been, you talk about the silver boot, the whole overall series is pretty close. Like the Rangers still have it, but the Rangers were so much better than the Astros for like the first whatever years, and the Astros are so much better than the Rangers. So for a while, so it's never been they've been good at the same time. It's who's going to win the season series, but if they could both be good at the same time, then it would be a lot of fun, especially with the state of Texas basketball, at least having competitive teams out there.
So shout out also to other buddies. We had Sully, former still a friend, but former Rice guy. We had Metco there, sideline guy for football, does some PA for Rice, baseball as well too. And then the award winner there in the end. And me with my Nolan jersey. I didn't get any smack talk when I was there. I don't know if it was because, there might be 12% Rangers fans there, but it just it was a good Texas feeling environment there, even though it was enemy territory for me. So I salute you, Astros fans, for being kind, but I don't offer any kind of aggressive invitations either. I don't think. Anyway, it was a nice friendly rivalry game in that one.
Yeah, from going to both places, I don't think Ranger fans for the most part hate Astros fans, and I don't think Ranger fans hate Astro fans. So I'm sure if you want more of the hatred, you could go to Yankees series against the Astros or something like that. But especially where Nolan's safe. Like no Astros fans get a trash talk a Nolan Ryan jersey if they know that's what it was. So that's the perfect jersey to wear to an Astros Rangers game, being a Ranger fan.
Yeah, I did want to give you a glimpse, though. Here are the standings. We have updated to the minute. I wanted to give you a little bit of hope for on the audio side. Got the 10-6 Rangers at the top, 1-6-10, and the Astros struggling down there in the middle of the standings. It'll be okay. It'll be okay, man. You're not Oakland. Think of that. You're not. But you are kind of tied with Seattle and the joke of a franchise, the Angels. So I did want to give you a little bit of hope. And also, here's the wild card picture. I don't know if that zooms up to where you can see, but Astros are just there at the bottom of the screen there, game and a half back of the wild card. So, Rangers on the division lead, so they're not figuring out, obviously, when you're leading a division. But it's going to be okay.
I'll see if I can somehow survive this just horrendous start to the season that they don't have every single year.
It doesn't go back, do you? That when the Astros take a 10-game lead, if that happens, or does it? That I'm not reporting the other side of it, but I guess you get the shtick of this. But I did have a couple observations about the game itself. Being there, the number one thing I was looking forward to is the pace of the game. And in person, like I had to ask you, where are the clocks at? And just okay, right when they get like you notice them right when the game gets underway out there in center, and then back behind home plate too. But with our such luxurious seats, I couldn't see them from our angle. But you were telling me when you watch the games on TV, you could see that anyway, like most major league parks. But the pace of the game is not noticeable too much. It makes for really quick innings. And if you're going to go get some grub, like what I did, I couldn't hold off. I hadn't had lunch. My lunch was at 6:45, and I had to go to the nacho stand right behind us and just get a drink from there because like I didn't want to stray too far off and wait in a long line as Soli did. He missed a whole inning because he went and got his burger and such. I guess he left a little bit before the game started, but he still got back to the end of the first inning. So you miss a lot. And Saturday casual fans that come to any ballpark, this is not exclusive to just the Astros, but you get a lot of the Saturday casuals. They're going to miss a lot of time. And folks that have to have alcohol injected into their veins every inning, this pace of play isn't for you, as has been in the national media. That's a whole other podcast talking about that issue, but I love it. I love getting in and out of there. I love last night watching the Rangers win over the Royals in DVR time of 1 hour and 5 minutes for a 2 hour and 10-minute game, because you know how let's move things on a bit. Let's go. But being there at the park, the pace of it is just tremendous. And I love it. You're Mr. Iron Stomach, and you've done this at a few other games I've been to. I can't pry you out of your seat. To be fair, I didn't ask you if you wanted anything, but you just stay there the whole time. But I think a lot of people have to rush things, or I really don't think they care either, because they're going to leave after the 7th inning, after the 8th inning anyway, especially for the Saturday casual crowd. And we did get the wave. I didn't have the book right here, but I wrote it down. I think it was the top of the 4th inning when we got the wave for the Saturday casuals as well.
Yeah, probably 4th or 5th inning on that, which I know that's your favorite part of the game. I told you my daughter Sierra when we went to a game earlier, she called me no fun dad or something because I didn't want to do the wave, and
yeah,
that'd be your badge of honor is no fun JP. But
yes,
but yeah, in terms of the pace of play, which I think you kind of touched on it. You don't notice it you don't totally notice it while the game's going on because they've got the clocks and everything, and you kind of tune it out I've tuned it out totally, but I went to my crazy 3 games in 2 different cities to start. But there was one time when there was a pitch violation. I didn't notice it. So a Ranger guy struck out on 2 pitches. And
yeah, Josh Young, I think. Yeah,
that was right. And I didn't notice that they gave the violation. So it's that much where it's just quick. And I think I'm sure the real diehards will never get used to it, but I don't see many negatives to it, honestly, outside of players that might gripe about that. But I always thought it was much more for the casual fans. But it's nice. Like I got home last night from a game it wasn't a game I was covering. It was Cameron's baseball game, and I'm not like you. I don't fast forward between batters. I just do every one. But knowing I can start a game at 10 and it's going to be done by 12 by skipping commercials. It's a lot more convenient, although I'm a night owl. So just all around, it's I think it's going great for them.
Yeah, the pace is excellent, and the result notwithstanding, at least from my Rangers homer side of things. So it's still, I think I told you after, neither of the results. One of us had a team that won today. Your Astros won that day, but it was still a good time had by all, and love being there with my sports buddies and my life buddies as well too. So after the game, this is probably a whole other episode, as I need to find the Curb Your Enthusiasm music and just have it as a regular kind of a bed music, So after the game, I wanted to get your quick take. I'm walking out of, you know where I'm going, right?
Oh, I absolutely know where you're going.
Okay. So I'm walking out. We're streaming out of there. It's a flood be a coming. It is going to storm something fierce. And we're watching the radar. We thought it was going to rain on us going in. We were worried about rain at the Rice game earlier, a few hours before that. And then so we're just booking it like fast walk. And I hear from behind me, "Hey, JP." So I look back and this guy is saying, "Hey, JP, what's up, man? You remember me?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah." And we start talking. I said, "Yeah, I was at the radio station." And he happened to be working at the radio station that broadcast our games a few years ago. Like I'd say stopped broadcasting there 5 years ago. So I had not seen this man at least in the last 5 years. And I said, "Yeah, I had no recollection of who this was." So I'm wondering, we go on and I'm thinking, okay, you can share as much as you want, because we had this whole other podcast conversation in the truck with all of us after. Why didn't I just say, "Hey, remind me what your name is? Can you help me out?" Because he had a big Josh beard going there, and I couldn't place who it was. And even after doing some social media investigative journalism after, I couldn't remember. But we ended up talking 2 or 3 minutes on the walk going back towards our super secret public parking spot right there off Highway 59. And I thought about that the rest of the night and some the next day, is why didn't I just say, "Oh man, remind me?" And then yeah, you're Frank. And man, remember that time we did this? Because we started talking about other people who we knew. So I knew he was in that circle, but I blew it. I didn't. But that was my natural. And then I even thought as we exited, because he went one way, him and his significant other went one way, and we turned right there. We turned right going back to our spot. I should have said, "Man, remind me." Stupid me. Like, why didn't I do that though? I don't know. I did not handle it the right way. So me even to ask you, did I handle it right? I know I didn't, but what to do? Because you've been in that. I don't know. You can tell your stories if you want, but
I don't know if it's the right way, but it's the way I handle it every single time.
Okay.
Like, because I've been, at my current job for 24 years. And in addition to, different aspects of being, different places, you're different people you're different people to different people. Does that make any sense? Like, some of my daughter's friends or something, they go up and say hi to me, and somebody I did a story on 20 years ago comes up and says hi to me. I've got no idea who the person is, and every time I'm like, "Hey, it's good to see you. What are you up to? What's the family up to?" I usually don't ask what the family's up to, because I don't know their personal family things, and if their families, I don't want them to have to delve deep into their souls to somebody that I don't really totally recognize.
Oh, you didn't know that mom passed, and
Yeah,
dad
that's
had something to do with it, and you didn't know about Uncle Jimmy who did this,
but it happens all the time. Like, I'll be out with my kids or Barb, my wife, and say hi to somebody. I'm pretty good at faking it too. Like, "Hey,
oh yeah,
and then they get away and they're like, either "Who was that?" or they're like, "Hey, why didn't you introduce me?" And both of them are the same answer, because I have no idea who this person is. Like, and it's no offense to them. It's just, and I usually, like I say, no idea. I usually recognize the face, because I'm good with faces.
mm-hmm.
I can kind of place where most of them are. Like, yeah, I knew this guy from the football team, or this person from a radio booth or something, but no idea what the name is. And so yeah, I'm totally on your boat of, like I said, a few months ago, I ran into somebody and they're like, "Hey, you remember me?" Yeah, yeah. And they even, to their credit, was what you were talking about. This wasn't the one I was telling you about the other day. But
Yeah.
they were like, "Yeah, I'm John." It wasn't John, but And then that made me trigger. I was like, okay, John, whatever. Like whenever I had that one little initial thing, then that reminded me, yeah, this is the person.
Yeah.
That's what I would say, and that's what your point was the other day. Just say, hey, I'm JP. You remember me, and that way all the pressure is not on you. But yes, totally. The way you handled it is what I do at least once every couple weeks. It makes it more awkward when you're around other people that you have to hide the thing of, because I'm a fairly polite person in general. So it seems like I'm being rude whenever I'm like, I'm not introducing this person while I'm sitting there talking to him for 10 minutes right next to my wife or right next to my kids. And so that's where it gets awkward, because then it seems like you're being rude and wanting to hide somebody from somebody. And that's not good.
So then is it on, because I've asked the Mrs. The Texas Porch before, why don't you help me out and introduce yourself so that I can get the name? We've had that happen before. You're at church or you're like at a game and somebody comes up. The problem is you never know when that moment's going to happen, but it's such a great social experiment that we should have a name tag society. This is my idea, separate rant, separate podcast episode. If everyone wore name tags, this would not be an issue, but understand people don't want to do that. But so yeah, cool, bro. Sorry I pretended like I knew you, but I just couldn't remember. I think I knew who it was, but even then, it's like, man, what was I doing? Anyway.
I can take it one more step.
Yeah.
Just a short thing. You're saying how Lisa is like, could say, introduce themselves. I have actually done that before. I'll see somebody a couple of times. I know Barb will be somewhere with me or the kids will be with me. And so I say, hey, can you introduce yourself? And that way. And so it puts them in the awkward position, but then I know who it is. And that's the one last little thing I had. I've actually gone as far as to have somebody to ask them if they'll introduce themselves. So they'll say, yes, I'm such and such. So, yeah.
So the point of all this is that if you've ever come up to any one of us, we don't know your name. That's the scenic. Yeah, that's the story, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. All right. Did want to get to this as we talk long enough about our great road trip. The Texas Sports Hall of Fame had its 2023 class inducted over the weekend, and it's a very Houston themed induction class with, by my count in my investigative research, 6 of the 8 from Houston, or 5 of the 8. Priest Holmes isn't from Houston, is he? I guess that's the one I didn't look up. But you have Robert Brazel, former Oiler great, Dr. Doom on the linebacking core. And you have, he's obviously has the Oilers tie. You have Cheo, Jose Cruz. Gotta get him on, Josh. Making that prediction. He's coming on. Cheo.
We have a pretty good tie to somebody really close to him.
I have asked him to come on. I've got him with the day job broadcast. He's going to come on. So I don't think it's right to, hey, after you do that, can you come right here on my rinky dink other podcasts? But anyway, so yeah, that'll be good to get him on eventually when it happens. Also, Scott Drew, national champion, coach of the Baylor Bears, probably overdue for him. The great Carlette Guidry, sprinter, won golds in the relays in 1992. Barcelona, she's from Houston, also won in 1996. And you, the bigger Longhorn of the two of us growing up, Priest Holmes. Did you know that he played 11 years in the NFL?
I did. He was a stud in the NFL for a while. He wasn't, and obviously he's there with the Longhorns picture. He wasn't anything special with Texas. He was there. Yeah. I believe he was there about the time of Ricky Williams too. I mean, he was always fine, but you would have never guessed he would have the pro career he had. And maybe having, just your kind of run of the mill college career helped out for the longevity of a running back. Help
Mm-hmm.
keep a little tread on the tires, as they would say, for later. But yeah, he was great in the NFL. But at Texas, he wasn't bad. But he was just he probably wasn't even an all-conference top. Although you could probably look it up and prove me wrong.
No, you're pretty close to accurate there. But 8,100 rushing yards in the NFL, won a title with the Ravens in their 2000 championship team, and pretty much handed the baton to Ricky Williams, because he left the 40 acres in 96. And Ricky Williams was like 96 through 98, right? Top of the.
Yeah, that sounds right. I remember them being in the same backfield.
Mhm.
For some reason, I'm picturing a season opener in Hawaii for him, and I don't know. I don't know if that's right or not. Maybe I could look that up. But yeah, they were in the same backfield for a year, and then he went on, and Ricky Williams obviously went on to be top 5 running back in college football history, probably. So, but I don't know. Like I said, Priest Holmes' great NFL career. He had some spectacular seasons. You just wouldn't have guessed it from his Longhorn days.
There's Robert Brazil and Cheo Jose Cruz, the Texas Sports Hall of Fame induction. And I mean, you talk about an icon in the city of Houston. That is Cheo. And it's obviously before my age of consciousness of watching Astros baseball. That would be you and your dad growing up and then going to the Dome. But the way he is revered, just seeing it secondhand, and just seeing how he's been out, and I mean, he is an icon in the city of Houston, up there. Maybe not to the dream level, or maybe not to, I mean, I don't know, like Warren Moon, but he's in that conversation about all-time greats that have been in Houston, and not to be overlooked, but he's out of my fandom, not being an Oilers fan growing up, and kind of before I paid attention to the NFL, he retired. But Robert Brazil was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2018. That slipped by me. I remembered it once I read it. I was like, oh yeah, that was a few years ago. And it was a really, really good class. Scott Drew, the Baylor ties there, getting in. I mean, like we talked about dozens and dozens of episodes ago, what the Baylor program, that was after we did the post pod episode, the live show after they won it all. And what Scott Drew took Baylor from to what they are now and what they're building. I got a little bit of a peek there when I was in Waco a few weeks ago. It is amazing. Like, you talk about single coaches. It's not with the same acclaim maybe or notoriety, but I like it a lot of what Coach Drew does and maintain a little bit of what Wayne Graham did at Rice, bringing Rice to be a perennial national power, trying to get back there now. But what Baylor is now, when you see Baylor and they're ranked 12th or 15th, you're like, what's wrong with Baylor? You know? And then Adrian Peterson is he's up there with the great, like, it's a conversation. Is Earl Campbell the best running back ever to come out of Texas? Is it Adrian Peterson? You know, that's a legitimate sports debate you can have around your watering hole of choice. One of the biggest regrets I have living near where he went to high school in Palestine, his senior year was 2002, and Adrian Peterson and the Wildcats, I forget who they're playing, but they're playing in Rusk. And I am known, Josh, people have known me forever I'll drive and go watch some sports greatness on you. I'll do it. Don't you test me. Okay. And I forget why I didn't go. I'll blame it on you somehow, even though we were just in the infancy of our friendship. But man, I regretted that to this day when he goes on and, what didn't Oklahoma win their national title when he was a freshman, right? And he got his Heisman mixed in there too. Or am I mixing years in there? But this is a great star-studded class. And I think Adrian Peterson calls Houston home now, I think.
He does. Yeah, he was. He was phenomenal in high school, college. Obviously, I'm drawing a blank on the timeline. I know they were great when he started, and I think he was hurt there close to the end. But you'd have to tell me because I'm losing track. But yeah, there's so many great names there. Jose Cruz is one I grew up watching a little bit in the last of his career. He was definitely Houston royalty for anybody that's probably slightly older than me. I'm sure the old school fans would love him over even the current guys that have won titles for the Astros.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Adrian Peterson didn't win the Heisman. How's this happen? Remember when I I talked to Vince Young at the Texas Bowl, and then he gave me he kind of brushed me off from my interview. I was doing sidelines for the national radio broadcast of the Texas Bowl a couple seasons back, and he's like, "No, I'm good, fam. I'm good." So, but I just had it in my mind, like, how did Adrian Peterson not win a Heisman? But he was runner-up there that great freshman year, but played for 7 teams in the NFL and almost finished with 15,000 yards. But that is Texas sports greatness for sure. And Michael Strahan also among those on the class. Houston native, went to Texas Southern. And the wild thing I was thinking about him is that he'll be known not as a football player. Like, I think what Michael Strahan, to a lot of people, they won't ever know that he played football. Maybe that'll come up in conversation, but we talked about the casuals earlier that go to Saturday night baseball games and do the wave and scream at every pitch that gets hit in a routine fly ball to straightaway center. They won't know that Michael Strahan was a dominant NFL player and a Hall of Fame football player at that too. But he made his way up through an HBCU, and man, he is just an icon in broadcasting now with what he's doing all over with his coverage on Fox and with Good Morning America. He just that is a guy that I got life figured out. He he knows what he's doing there, and all came, but a heavy Houston theme there. I didn't want to leave out. Cynthia Potter also inducted, a former Olympic diver, and color commentary. We should do this as a kind of fun attempt of the show. The 3-meter springboard team, she won Olympic gold, but she's from Houston, and she is 72 years young now. And how about that for getting hopefully a lot more time left. But, by the way, you're getting inducted into the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. Some of those, it might not be as big an honor, but they already have achieved the greatest in their professions. But I don't know. I'm obviously biased to our great state, but that was a really big star-studded class, I think, with the pandemic. And then they started inducting broadcasters last year. They opened up a broadcasters wing. Come on. What are we doing here? How am I not there? Right? No, just joking. That is a great, great honor, being a Texas Sports Hall of Famer for all of them. I'm sure they don't take it lightly.
No, it's pretty impressive when you consider how many Hall of Fames those people are probably in as well already. So I don't know. Once you get to that level, like, I know it's exciting to get and it's great to be the Texas one, but like for Michael Strahan, how excited is he actually about being in the Texas Sports Hall of Fame? Like, does he show up to it? Does he?
He did. He did. He was there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's already been. I lose track, but yeah. I was just thinking Michael Strahan, just because he's accomplished so much, like you said, in life. Where totally, I think people don't see him as a football player that are younger than us and didn't see just how monstrous he was on a field. Mm-hmm. But I was just curious about that. But it's still. It's amazing. Like, he wasn't in yet. Like, that was my only surprise. Jose Cruz and Michael Strahan weren't in yet, and maybe Michael Strahan could slip through the cracks through the cracks because he was Texas Southern, but obviously totally known for being New York. So you don't think of him as really this big Texan guy for casual fans. So I don't know where I was going with that, but Michael Strahan, great human and great football player, great broadcaster, great pretty much whatever he decides to do, he's great.
Yeah, he's figured it out. I think I threw you off there at the beginning telling you the awards had already happened, and that just sent you through a spiral. But you recovered nicely, but you're an award-winning writer. And as we mentioned already, we're doing this broadcasting thing. All right, Josh, now it's time for the award-winning partial segment within the show. This week in Texas sports and history. April 19th of 1990, another great Texas tie player, Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon, scored a career-high 52 points. Best center for any Texas NBA team?
I'm biased, but I say yes. But, I mean, yeah.
Over David Robinson.
Over David Robinson. I mean, David Robinson famously won the MVP the year that they decided they were going to give him the MVP in front of Olajuwon right before a series started. And Olajuwon commenced to beat the ever-living crap out of him for 6 straight games. So, I don't know. That's the story that always comes about to me. Like those two in their prime, whenever Dream decided, yeah, I'm going to show you who's better, Olajuwon totally showed him who's better. Despite Robinson, he went on and won more titles when Tim Duncan got there. But just individually, I'd go with Olajuwon any day. He was something else. I miss watching him play.
As the Mavericks fan, I'll break the tie and say it's James Donaldson. Okay. And I'll fight you. No, I would say it's Dream first in a 1A, David Robinson. And David Robinson, the best Hall of Fame induction speech. Should have pulled that up coming up here. But also we have turning 35 years young on Wednesday, Brandon Belt. We don't him a minute. Former star Hudson Hornet, San Jacinto Gator, and played a little ball at the state school in Austin and won a couple rings for the San Francisco Giants. Born in Nacogdoches, 35 years young. Oozing Texas there. Young Mr. Belt. I knew him when he was a little boy there, Brandon Belt. No, the first baseball team I ever broadcast was Brandon's 2005 Hudson Hornets. He was a sophomore. I was like, this Belt, he's okay. He could be something. Yeah. Anyway, your boy, you're going to go see him. A special birthday trip this week, huh?
Yeah, that's good. That I halfway know him. But yeah, Wednesday I didn't realize that was his birthday. So we'll bring a sign or something because he probably won't even see us. But he graduated with Cody, my brother. He was around obviously way in my early days of sports writing. I did a couple stories on him and some other guys. But yeah, he's up there in Toronto now doing well. He's off to a slow start, but he does a lot. He does a lot of great things for the community here in East Texas that we recognize here. Probably people don't recognize it totally, but yeah, great person.
Yeah, good dude.
And yeah, he's great. He takes time out when he's here in the off season. He's got a home here in the area, so he still lives here despite playing in Toronto, playing in San Francisco. So sure he'll be around for a long time because he doesn't like a whole lot of attention of the big city. So
he does not. That's one thing you definitely know. All right, Josh. April 21st, 1836, Texas forces won the Battle of San Jacinto, the concluding military event of the Texas Revolution, facing General Santa Anna's Mexican army of some 1,200 men encamped in what is now southeastern Harris County. Been there a few years ago. But General Sam Houston disposed his forces in battle order about 3:30 p.m. during siesta time. The Texans' movements were screened by trees and the rising ground, and evidently Santa Anna had no lookouts posted. The Texan line sprang forward on the run with the cries of "Remember the Alamo!" What? Remember the Alamo! Remember Goliad! The battle lasted only 18 minutes, and according to Houston's official report, only 9 of the 910 Texans were killed or mortally wounded, and 30 were wounded less seriously. There's a big dose of Texas history for you, Josh. You ever been to that monument there?
I have not been.
You are not a Texan then. Get off the show.
Maybe I can mark that down. I have a limited Texas history knowledge, but that's obviously the big ones among the big ones. So yes, I do know that story at least.
Good. April 21st, barely a Texan, if he's even that. Tony Romo was born. So 43 years young, Tony Romo. We'll move on to other. I'm not a Romo fan, okay? That's why, I don't know, surely, in case anybody has ever listened to our Cowboys episodes, very overrated, okay? He's Danny White that didn't go to 3 title games, 3 NFC title games. He's Danny White, folks. And Danny White was really good. And Tony Romo isn't even up to that. So, in fact, I'd put Dak ahead of Tony Romo. What do you think about them apples? Is it too late in the show to bring that up, stir that?
You're saying he's the anti-Strahan is what you're saying?
He is the he is the anti-Strahan. He did less with more. Anyway, but I don't know. All right, April 21st, 2012. This week in Texas sports. Carthage native, Nacogdoches born, Rice National champ Philip Umber threw a perfect game. White Sox, pitched for the White Sox in Seattle. It was the 21st perfect game in Major League history. Got to get him up here. I've talked to him a few times, but should have thought ahead. So next year at this time, on the 12th year anniversary of that, we'll try to get him on. Hey, your boy, David Robinson, scored 71 points in the regular season finale. On this day, Texas sports history. 1994. And April 24th, 1982, she likes to take dumps in trash cans at her concerts. Kelly Clarkson was born in Fort Worth. She turns 41 years old. Bet you didn't know that about her, did you?
I did not. The David Robinson story I did know about. He scored that so he could beat Shaq in the scoring race, and he needed 69 or 70 points, and he scored 71 and immediately came out, which if it wasn't somebody as great as a person as David Robinson, somebody might have bad things to say about totally chasing an individual record like that, but props to him. I don't mind. Impossible.
Good guys, there's come across these here parts. I'm trying to get all Hicks' country on you. I did not add him. I don't have it anymore, but at one time, young JP I was looking as if it was hung up, and I know it's in my office. It's my Bird jersey. So I got Larry Bird, old school. I had a Larry Bird Olympic jersey, and I had a David Robinson jersey in my more svelte days. This adds to it, but I remember that fondly. Great moment in Texas sports and history that will never be topped. No one will score 72, at least for the Spurs, ever again. All right, Josh, we've gone over time, and when you go over time, you got to pay the podcast man, and we will get out of here. All right, you award winner, you crazy guy with your well-lit room and your trophies and your plaques and all your autographs, you get out of here. I'm giving you a few days off, okay?
Yeah, your setup's still much more impressive than mine. Mine's like 3 things in this. So.
Well, it goes without saying, but come on.
Just give my wife a weekend off, and she can.
Next, we're looking at Mike. Next, you're going to find the lost mic I gave you, and then we're going to try to get headphones. But it's progression, okay? We're not trying to do it all at once. It's a progression. Okay?
I think I can handle headphones. Like, surely I could just go to Walmart and get something like that, right?
Man,
might be a conversation better after we get off here. I don't think that's gonna really keep the listeners riveted by that.
All right, Josh, let's get out of here. Have a good one, man. Appreciate you.
Okay, you too.
That's Josh. I'm JP. Remember, you can subscribe to Texas Porch any place you get your podcast, and we're on YouTube now too. Eventually, going to go there full time, but streaming on Facebook and YouTube. But please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That would be an awesome favor to us. And remember, you can contact us as well. You can tweet us, Mr. Texas JP, on the Insta and the tweets. All right, signing off. Our first place Rangers in the third place Astros. I'm JP. That's Josh. Have a great rest of this day. God bless you. God bless Texas. We'll talk to you next time out here on the Texas Porch. First place Texas Rangers. Oh, go, go.